In this video, we are going to practice the data types a little. So I want you to write a program that can convert following data types: integer to float and string to integer. The first one is pretty easy and it's just a one-line code. The second one is a little bit tricky and I will use a function for that. So if you want to do that by yourself again, yeah, just do that now and later you can compare with my solution. About the string to integer, I mean, we can provide a number or have a number inside of a character array like a string, and we will convert that string number to its integer representation like you can see here. Okay, just to make that clear what I mean here, and oh, okay, so the first one is pretty easy. Let's say we have an integer value. We can just go here and say, okay, we store the value of integer a to the value of float b, because we can do that because the float data type is bigger than the integer data type. So every integer can be displayed as a float number. I think that's pretty clear. The other way around is not so easy because we will have data loss. If assume you have a float that is maybe 1.23 and you want to save that as an integer value, you can just, the integer can just be 1 or maybe 2, but it can't be 1.23. It can't be precisely that value. The other way around is always possible, so the integer of 24 will be a float of 24.000 and so on. So that is always possible and that is always easy. We already saw that for integer to character. You saw that in the character video. So these kind of data type conversions are always possible and always easy. We have some tricky conversions like the string to integer. This is maybe not always easy to understand, but I want to show you one way to do it. So we want to have something like that, string to int, and we provide our string here, and we want to store this as integer value, and later on we want to print out everything. So we want to say a equals %d, as this is an integer, b equals %.2f, so I want to have the precision of 2, string equals s, and c equals d, as this is integer value again, a, b, string c. So that's all. And now of course we have our function string to int, and this is the interesting part. So as you can read from the name of the function string to int, we will receive an integer value, and as a parameter we expect a string value. I use x here because it's not so much to write. Okay, and first of all I will use a while loop to do this, because in the last video I was using a for loop and the condition is exactly the same like last time. And in the while loop, don't forget you don't have the increment variable inside the braces, so you have to increment it in the loop itself. That's the only difference between while and for. If you remember that while is just like a for loop, just with the condition in the conditional part. Okay, So what we are going to do now is we have a special calculation. Special because we are using a special character, a specialty about the characters again. So that is this expression will convert the value of our character into an integer. Because the problem is, if we just add the character value of 1 is not 1. So we have to convert this to an integer before we do that. And this is the trick for this video you are going to learn. We will see how that works out now, and after that I'm going to explain this a little bit more. Oh, yeah, not quite. Oh, no, I actually want to show the warnings. We don't get any warning. Now I'm running the program and we see everything is fine. We have the integer value of 42, which is in converted to float 42.00. That's okay. So we have the string 1234, which is written as an integer value 1234. So that's perfectly fine. Two more things. The first thing is, what happens if we don't write that little trick? Then we get a problem because, like I said, the integer value of the character is different from the real integer value. So that's why we get another result here. So keep in mind, whenever you want to have the real integer part of an integer character, you have to subtract 0 character from it. And then you have the real number part of the character value. Okay, so that's a little trick, but this calculation looks a little bit strange, does it? So first we want to take a look. We want to take a closer look. Example for 1, 2, 3, 4. So in the first loop, a equals 0, I equals 1, so that equals 0, so that means the character on position 0 for our array is 1. So for our calculation here, that means a equals 0, so we have 0 times 10. 0 times 10 is 0, plus 1. That minus 0 is just, we can forget about that, so we just have the position 0 is 1, so we have 1. That's the first loop. The second loop is a is 1 now because we had this calculation, so that equals 1 actually. So we have 1 times 10, 1 times 10 is 10, plus, and now we have the 2, and now you see where this is going. Actually, I'm going to make this inside, it's better. Okay, so now a is 12. 12 times 10 is 120, plus x at position 2 is 3, so we have 1, 2, 3. And at the fourth loop, we have a equals 1, 2, 3. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 0, of course, plus 4 equals 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is why it's working. I think it's pretty clear how this is using the decimal number system. That's why we have a 10 here, because we are calculating in decimal numbers. And this is base 10 number system. Okay, one more thing. We have a little problem with our string here, because maybe the user will provide something like that, or like that, or like that. If you have user input, maybe the user makes some spaces inside and you still want this to work, right? The problem is this is not going to work. In fact, we are getting a negative number now, and a really big one. So I want to show you how to fix this, but maybe you want to try that yourself. It's pretty easy. So if you want to try it yourself, pause the video now, because I'm fixing that problem now. So we are going to need a condition, of course, and the condition is pretty easy. We have the value of xi, and that must, of course, be bigger or equal than 0, and at the same time it must be less or equal than 9. So we just make sure that the current character is actually a number. If it's not a number, just skip it. Don't calculate anything, because now we are also calculating for something that is not a number. And if we are doing this, we will see it's working just fine now. Even we have some spaces. We can even add some characters here or some, yeah, strange things, and now it will still calculate our number, because we are skipping all the weird things. Okay. Yeah, that's all for this video. I hope it was not too fast. I think especially this part is pretty complicated, but the main thing to remember is how to convert data types, and to keep in mind there's one easy kind of conversion and one difficult kind of conversion. These functionalities are, or this functionality especially, is already implemented in C language, I believe. You can look that up for built-in data type conversions. There are already plenty of functions that will convert data types for you, so you don't have to write all that by yourself. But it's, of course, a good practice to do so, and you get some insights to C-level language and, yeah, some practice. Okay, that's it for this video. See you in the next video. Bye.